What if everything you were told about human history was a lie? For decades, we've been told civilization began just 5,000 years ago, that the Great Pyramids of Egypt were humanity's crowning achievement. But what if the truth is far more shocking? What if even bigger pyramids aren't in Egypt at all? I'm Josh, and in this episode of the Infographic Show, we're uncovering why Egypt isn't hiding the world's biggest pyramid. Europe is. You wake up as the sun rises over Bosnia and Herzegovina. You're a farmer on the outskirts of Visoko, where the Foinica and Bosna rivers meet, not far from the capital city of Sarajevo. Life is simple, but you take great pride in your homeland. Visoko is now a thriving city, but nearby lies the old town of Visoki, a medieval village crowned by a 14th century castle. Tourists come for the ruins, but you've always been fascinated by them. They're a glimpse back in time when this village was a proud royal haven. But it's not the only thing that fascinates people. Visoki is surrounded by a collection of hills, each rising hundreds of feet into the sky. Visokika Hill stands out at 720 feet, one of the most prominent landmarks in the valley. Nearby, smaller hills like Pleszewica rise over 350 feet. These aren't just tall, they are strangely uniform. Locals say they look more like pyramids than natural hills. Impossible, right? If they really were pyramids, then they would be the largest in the world. The Great Pyramid of Giza is under 500 feet, more than 200 feet shorter than Visokika. People have speculated for decades, but no one has confirmed anything. You intend to change that. You decide to take the next month off from farming. A friend agrees to watch your land while you head to the hills. The hills, or the pyramids, are buried beneath thick vegetation. Forests climb their slopes. Branches and roots are tangled together. Anyone exploring them would struggle to see anything unusual. From a distance, they look completely natural. But maybe that's the point. You grew up reading the works of Semir Osmanagić, a Bosnian businessman, author, and archaeology enthusiast. When you dig into his works, you are swept away to a magical past. Bosnia was the cradle of civilization, building massive structures that the world had never seen before. Now that history lies buried under millennia of natural growth, waiting to be discovered. Many have tried, all have come back empty-handed. You are different. The area is safe to explore, but it takes caution and resilience to make it up the hills and do a thorough exploration. As you head out with a hefty collection of supplies in your bags, climbing gear, food, and water, you're greeted with cheers from your village. Many of them are readers of Osmanagić. Some have even wilder theories than yours. Could these pyramids hold ancient technology capable of harnessing the energies of the globe? Could they have been built by aliens? There's only one way to find out. Your mother warns you to be careful. She worries about where those hills might lead you. Your father shakes his head and calls you a fool, but nothing they say is enough to stop you. The pyramids await. You're far from the only person hiking Visokika. Trails wind all the way to the summit, and they're busy most days. Families out for a walk, tourists carrying cameras. It's considered one of the easier mountain hikes in the region. Over the years, these paths have been searched again and again for signs of rumored pyramids, but every time people find nothing. As you begin to climb, you pass groups enjoying the view and stopping for photos. For a while, you follow the same trail as everyone else, but not for long. Soon, you step off the path and into the forest, into the unknown. If the mountain was actually a pyramid, it would have to have an opening, and that opening would be near the bottom of the pyramid. Logic dictates that, and that means that you'll be avoiding the well-traveled routes headed to the summit. Instead, you're concentrating your search on the thick forest-like base of the mountain. It's a massive amount of ground to cover, even on Visokika alone, but this is where you have chosen to begin. If there really is a pyramid hidden here, why not start with the biggest? The vegetation is thick, swallowing the hillside in tangled brush and trees. Trail guides have warned you about the wildlife, especially the brown bears. You make sure to give anything that moves a wide berth. Your goal is simple but exhausting. Check every area that looks like plants hiding an opening. You use your machete to strike the hillside, listening for any hollow sound beneath the surface. It is slow, painstaking work, and every time you come up empty, your father's voice then echoes in your mind, calling you a fool. But you keep going. You slash at the undergrowth, and you find a void, a dark space, a hollow or an entrance. You grab a rock and toss it in. It doesn't hit the ground, it keeps on falling. The echo returns, deep and cavernous. A chasm. Could it really be? All the fatigue in your body immediately melts away. Your machete bites through the vegetation like fire. Soon you're crawling through narrow, muddy passages, gravel crunching beneath your hands, dirt rubbing against your skin. Every inch forward pulls you deeper into the unknown. Your flashlight bounces off the sides of the tunnel. Eventually, the cramped passage opens up into a large chamber. And then it hits you. You have just made history. You're in a massive atrium carved entirely from stone. It must be thousands of years old. The walls are covered in intricate designs, remnants of a civilization almost forgotten. At the center, massive stone structures point toward the sky, perfectly aligned, impossible to ignore. You can't imagine the work that it would have taken to build this, if it was even made by human hands. None of this makes sense, at least not yet. You pull out the paint that you brought and you begin marking your path back from the pyramid, leaving a trail for the next explorers. The secrets of this incredible site will be unraveled by those with greater knowledge of the region. You have uncovered Bosnia's greatest secret. But what really happened in the hills is even stranger. Could a story like this actually be true? While other people are out digging for pyramids, you're already on the best adventure, watching from the comfort of your screen. Like, share, and subscribe. It is way easier than crawling through the mud. In recent years, many adventurers have set out from the Bosnian countryside searching for the country's ancient past. All of them returned empty-handed, but the attraction hasn't faded. Interest in the mysterious pyramids of Bosnia has only grown, and the secrets they hold remain untouched. Even the government has gotten in on the act, promoting books about the theory. Their efforts have drawn more and more people into the idea that Bosnia and Herzegovina might be home to one of the greatest hidden wonders of the ancient world. It all started with one man. Semir Osmanagić grew up in the Bosnia and Herzegovina region of Yugoslavia. But as the 1992 war broke out, he departed for Texas, where he made his fortune in metal manufacturing. Now, the founder of his own company, he returned home and put his wealth toward rebuilding his shattered country post-independence. One of his big ideas was designing an archaeological park that would bring in tourism. Osmanagić was a huge fan of pyramids, and he founded the Bosnian Pyramids of the Sun Foundation to make sure that people were aware of these archaeological icons. There was just one problem. No one was sure if they were pyramids. In 2005, Osmanagić made his first visit to Visoko and its nearby fortress. The symmetrical pyramid-like shape of the mountain was incredibly clear to him. He soon published a book claiming that the hill and the smaller ones surrounding the city were all part of an ancient pyramid network that was connected by an elaborate tunnel structure. The country was still recovering from the chaos of the breakup of Yugoslavia and the brutal wars that followed. This wild revelation brought hope and excitement to the population, and the scientists followed. Early skeptics were quick to point out that Osmanagić had no scientific or archaeological background. He was at best an extremely dedicated enthusiast. They argued his connection to the Russian Academy of Natural Sciences was little more than a pay-to-play arrangement. But that didn't stop the claims from gaining momentum in a hurry. The possibility of an ancient pyramid hiding under the mountains was enough to bring in the local geologists. They quickly began digging up core samples to see if it was truly a hill or something more. And then they found something. A mystery that has refused to die. On the surface, the makeup of the hill was mundane. It was primarily composed of sedimentary rock, natural clay, and sandstone. But some of the cracked sandstone plates raised speculation that they could have been part of construction material. It wasn't long before the scientific community was debating the site, and most of them quickly came down against Osmanagić's claims. A year after his initial theory and his book, 21 scientists and historians condemned the theory as a likely hoax. But that did nothing to quiet the claims. According to most geologists, the hills are what's known as flat irons, land formations shaped over millennia by natural forces. Their steep slopes and sharp angles make them resistant to erosion. Flat irons typically have wide bases and triangular shapes, giving them an appearance similar to pyramids. They're found all over the world, from Ethiopia to Colorado, often clustered together as obvious mountain ranges. To believers like Osmanagić, the Bosnian hills are different. They claim the hills stand alone. They're separate from each other, rising individually and forming shapes that almost demand to be called pyramids. And some people have an investment in keeping the debate going. Osmanagić has been roundly condemned by these scientists as being interested in nothing but financially promoting the area. And if that was the case, he is not working hard to dispel it. He renamed the hills, giving the two biggest the names Pyramid of the Sun and Pyramid of the Moon. The others are named after Love, Earth, and the Dragon. The Bosnian government has been all in on this. Bosnia and Herzegovina has come a long way since the brutal wars of the 1990s, but the country is still struggling. The country's GDP is just over $10,000 per capita as of 2026, according to the IMF. That puts it around 109th worldwide and toward the low end of Europe's countries. Many Balkan countries are in a similar state, and a new tourist attraction would be very welcome. As a result, the government regularly promotes Osmanagic's lore, and school children are frequently taken on field trips to see the pyramids for themselves. And that might be having an impact, but not the one that Osmanagić wanted. From the start, Osmanagić claimed that his project was a massive success. Before 2006, the hills were little more than a scenic vista for hiking. But a year later, they were reportedly attracting 200,000 tourists. Osmanagić was seeking investments from around the world to build up a massive park detailing the supposed history of the area. While tourism today isn't what it used to be, there is still a brisk business for souvenir sellers around the mountains. But this might all be coming at a cost. Today, the mountains have been heavily affected by tourism, with heavy traffic wearing down many of the paths. One mountain has even been reshaped by frequent excavations, making it look more like a stepped pyramid. This only increases the theories that this is what it originally looked like thousands of years ago. Archaeologists continue to raise concerns about the environmental and historical impact. There are also fears about potential damage to the castle ruins nearby. These worries have led to urgent pleas for the government to shut the project down. But the man behind it all isn't slowing down. One of the most controversial parts of Osmanagic's quest, as well as the one that intrigues many people the most, is that his claims only get wilder with time. If these truly were pyramids, then there is one big question here: who built them and why? He points to the Ravni tunnels, a structure near the base of the hill complex, and claims that they're the remnants of the ancient tunnel network. As for the date, he claims to have found fossilized leaves that have been there since 34,000 years ago, far beyond anything that historians believe possible. And if that sounds outlandish, wait until you hear what the pyramids were supposedly made for. The pyramids reach toward the sky, and Osmanagić believes they were designed to create standing waves, a type of cosmic energy. According to him, this energy could enable faster-than-light travel, or even allow communication across the stars. And if that sounds like something humans would never be able to do, you're right. Osmanagić has promoted the idea that the pyramids were built by visitors from the stars, known as ancient astronauts. He also believes that they were responsible for seeding human beings on the Earth. It might sound ridiculous, but that won't stop it. You only have to look at the American Southwest to see just how much the idea of aliens or ancient history far beyond human existence fascinates people. Much like towns like Roswell have turned into tourist attractions, the same seems to be the destiny of Visoko Hill and its fellow mountains. As the archaeologists shake their heads and geologists appeal to reason, Osmanagić may have tapped into something more powerful than reason. It's the power of imagination that insists there must be something out there. Maybe it's already here. You've seen how imagination can turn hills into legends, but what about feats humans supposedly couldn't achieve? To find out, watch Was It Impossible for Humans to Build the Pyramids? Or click on this video instead.